Hello and welcome to the Under Center podcast. And this is, of course, your YouTube exclusive Beat the Bookies show where we try and win you a bit of money heading into week 8 of the regular season. I am joined by Fionn Malloy. We had a bad week last week, Fionn. No winners again.
Yeah,
But
we can't keep saying this. At some point, we're gonna have to change the show name from "Beat the Bookies" to "Give the Bookies Your Money."
but
Yeah, we need to
there
have a good
was
week.
yeah, there was some interesting calls on it that did work out. They did not work out together, but if you
Yeah.
maybe took a couple of things out of it, you might have got some decent money or did some separate bets. But I think I'm feeling good about week 8.
Well, I'm glad one of us is.
Like I mentioned on our show on Tuesday as well, I am no longer backing the New York Jets in a bet show ever again after the
Nice.
catastrophe of the
Fair.
game on Sunday against the Patriots. But I'll start with my bet this week. We'll go straight into it. No time wasting here. The New York Jets are involved in my first one this week, but I'm not backing them. I'm backing who they're playing, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. They are currently minus 11.5. I normally don't like going with a spread like this, especially when it's over a touchdown. But the Jets are a mess, man. They're playing Mike White is going to be their starting quarterback now
Mhm.
this week. Of course, with Zach Wilson out, their defense is a mess. The Cincinnati Bengals defense is something to really fear. Trey Hendrickson is going to, I think, eat the poor offensive line of the Jets and demolish poor Mr. White in his first NFL start. My next part of the bet is the Cleveland Browns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go with the under in the total points on this, which is 42.5. Steelers don't score a lot of points. The Browns, I think at the moment it looks like Case Keenum is going to play. So I don't think they're going to score a lot of points. And I think 42 is very generous to get for a Steelers and Browns game. And the final part of my treble this week is going to be the New England Patriots. They are getting 6 points against the Chargers this week, and I am taking those 6 points. The Chargers are the worst rushing defense in the league. They can't stop the run no matter what. And we saw, especially last weekend, that the likes of Damian Harris is having a really, really good season with the Patriots. And I think that they can run through the Chargers. They may not win the game, but I don't think they're going to lose by more than a touchdown. You go with this, you get 6-1 odds. If you want to throw a touchdown scorer in there, I'm liking Deebo Samuel against the Chicago Bears this week. Khalil Mack is not going to be playing, so the pass rush is not going to be as good for the Bears this week. So might give Jimmy Garoppolo a little more time in the pocket to pass to Deebo Samuel to maybe get himself a touchdown. But Fionn, what do you think about those bets?
Yeah, pretty nice. I think the total for the Steelers Browns game, you said it was generous. I think that's quite a low over under. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that game ticks over into the over. Don't blame me on the Jets. They're pretty terrible. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals hockey them. Did you have a look at what the over under is on that game by any chance?
The over-under on that one, I can check it here for you now. Just
don't worry about it. I was just thinking it depends. Have a look at that if you're interested on a secondary bet, guys. If that's a low number, maybe take a look at it. But I think if it's in the 40s, it's the same.
42.5.
Yeah, I wouldn't go near that because in reality, you're looking at only the Bengals scoring. So I don't think the Jets will be up to much. So maybe stay away from that. But yeah, I agree with most of those bets. I think they're pretty standard, except for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cleveland Browns. My instinct is to go for the over on that one, but we'll see who comes out on top. Mine, I've gone in a kind of similar direction. I've taken Washington at +3. I think that's a pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if they get the win this week. It's not going to be
Broncos, isn't it?
Versus the Broncos. The Broncos are not a good team. Do you know what I mean? And yes, Washington haven't covered themselves in glory, but at the very least, I hope that game is tight. And if it's tight, I think a field goal is generous for the winner. Might only be a point in it. somewhere along there. So I've also gone for the Titans versus the Colts. They've given an over-under of 51 on that game. I think that's pretty high if the Titans don't go and run away with it. And I feel like the Colts have turned the corner. I think they're going to be pretty competitive. So I'm going to go for the under on that 51-point game. And finally, Cowboys only getting 1.5 in their game. I'm going to take that. I think they'll win the game pretty easily. And who are they playing? I've lost it here. The Vikings. Yeah, I think they're going to beat the Vikings.
Is that -1.5, is it?
Sorry, yes, -1.5. Yeah. I think that's a bit cruel on the Cowboys. Unfortunately, they have looked pretty potent this year. And so I'm going to take the -1.5. If you want a touchdown scorer, I think Stephon Diggs off the Bills is due one. They've seen the ball spread around quite a lot to Sanders and Knox, and I think it's about time he got a touchdown.
Yeah, I believe they're playing Miami this week as well.
They are playing Miami, so
Diggs does like a touchdown against Miami. I do like that bet. I like that bet. With the Cowboys, when the spread is so close like that, you know, you might as well take it because it's not often that you know, teams will win by the single point. There's normally a field goal in between. So
and
you know, -1.5 is good.
It's a 5-1 record against the 3-3 record.
Yeah, but it's an improving 3-3. You know, I don't think anyone would look at the Vikings and say they're a 3-3 team. Like, they should have beat the Cardinals, so realistically they could be 4-2 at the moment. So you're looking at two close teams in that. Both teams coming off a bye as well this week, so they are both well rested. So we should see. And maybe, you know, I know Dak Prescott is expected to go with his calf injury, but you never know what can happen there. If he aggravates it in the middle of the game, and then we could be seeing, who was it? Cooper Rush is the backup quarterback.
That seems to be the backup at the moment. Yeah, I don't know
Cooper
that
Rush is the backup to Dak if he has to go out. But look, he's had about 2 weeks to rest that, so he should be good to go. That is the Sunday night football game this week as well. But I like the bet. Similar like with the points. Like, you're never too sure. You know, the Titans Colts 51.5 seems quite high. You know, the Colts did put up 30 against the 49ers last week. Of course, the Titans put up 27 against the Chiefs as well. So, you know, both teams can score. Both teams have got some issues on defense. So it could be difficult. I think you'd be coming into towards the end of that fourth quarter, biting your nails, hoping that there'll be no more points scored. But it's definitely going to be a close one. I think that's a fair bet. And Washington, I like that. If you're getting 3 extra points against the Broncos, I think that's going to be quite good. I think I agree with you in terms of, I think that they actually could go and get the win this week. So, you know, I think that, are they at home against the Broncos or are they away?
I have to double check that.
I think they are away.
They are away. It is in Mile High Stadium.
They're in Mile High. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe. I think that Tyler Heineke and Teddy Bridgewater, I think you definitely have the better quarterback at the moment as well, the better performing quarterback at the moment. So I think it's a good one. Jake has sent us in his bet for this week, and it's an interesting one. I do have my issues with it. We talked a little about it before we went on air here. So he has the Cardinals -6.5 against the Packers, of course, for the Thursday night football. By the time you see this, that bet will probably be null and void because obviously the Thursday night football game would have already finished. The Eagles -3.5 against the Lions. An interesting stat I'm going to come back to now, and that is which could hamper or hurt that bet. And then he has the Bucs -5 against the Saints this week. To, of course, that divisional matchup between those two rivals. You know, the Bucs one I can understand. After seeing the Monday Night Football and seeing the Saints only put up 13 points, you know, you can see that they won't be, and especially going up a much better defense in the Bucs. I think that's not a bad show. The Eagles -3.5, I have an issue with against the Lions, and that's because, you know, I always find it hard to bet against a team that has a no-win record, because that first win could come out of nowhere. We saw with the Jets last year, they went to SoFi and they beat the Rams, which no one expected them to beat. The betting market for this game at the start of the week, I think in in the desert in Vegas, I think they had 70% of bets were going on the Lions covering the spread of obviously plus 3.5. So there's a lot of people who believe that the Lions are finally going to break their duck this week against the Eagles, who are having their own issues. And there's rumors about quarterback changes coming down the pipeline with Jalen Hurts possibly getting benched and Gardner Minshew becoming the main guy under center. But Fionn, what do you think about those three teams for Jake's treble?
Yeah, obviously the cards are not going to waste much time on that. The guys won't be able to put any bets on that. Anyway, I like the Bucks. They've been pretty dominant all season. 5 points is a fairly comfortable spread for them as it goes. They've been much higher favorites at times. And again, like you, the Eagles. But for me, the worry is anytime the Eagles are in a game this season and you're expecting them at 3.5 means they've got to cover more than a field goal. A field goal won't do it. And I just don't believe they've been so lackluster, so poor so far this season. I don't see them, even if they get a win by a clean field goal, still won't give you the win on that bet. And that's what makes me nervous about even playing the lowly Lions this week. So yeah, I think Jake has a lot of improvement to do when it comes to picking his bets for this show.
Definitely. He picks his bets like he picks his team in the prediction league. That's why he is third at the moment in that. But that is our bet show for this week. Make sure since you're watching this on YouTube, of course, because it is a YouTube exclusive, make sure you please like this video and subscribe to our Under Center podcast channel on YouTube. That's where you'll get all our live show every Tuesday. That's where you'll get our Thursday night preview shows. That's where you'll get our YouTube exclusive bet show every week as well. So make sure you are subscribed to that so you are kept up to date with the latest releases. If you prefer the audio side, just go to wherever you get your podcasts, search Under Center Podcast. That's where you'll find us. Subscribe and listen on there too if you prefer. Our socials, Instagram and Twitter are both the same. Just search at Under Center Pod. And then if you want to follow us on Facebook, you can, of course, too. Facebook.com/Under Center Podcast. Sorry. I don't know why I made such a gap in between, but it's Under Center Pod. Jake, I shouldn't call you Jake. No, Fionn.
He's not here. He's not here as usual.
He's not here. Fionn, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And until next time, guys, stay safe, bet safe, and we'll see you soon.